If you know to look for these 5 red flags when talking with a marketing agency, you'll be able to avoid months, if not years, of wasted budget from signing a contract with a bad agency. The first red flag on the list is something that business owners can oftentimes think is going to be a positive, but more often than not turns into a bad experience, and that is an agency that handles all services. In theory, this sounds great. You'll be able to deal with one account manager, you'll have centralized communication, and there should be teams that are collaborating if they're running things like Google ads, Facebook ads, and email and SMS marketing. But the sad truth is, more often than not, if an agency does every service, they don't truly specialize in any one service. For an agency to achieve a setup where teams are collaborating across different services like Facebook, Google ads, email, SMS, they would need to be set up in pods. This is where there is one team member for each service, all in one group that communicates together, and they all work on the same clients. This pod has one leader, which is the overall strategist and client communicator. But most agencies aren't set up with this organizational structure. What you'll see instead is one of the examples we're about to talk about. If they're a smaller agency and they provide all services, there's a great chance they specialize in one thing like Facebook ads or Google ads, and then they white label out other partners who are agencies that do services for a lower cost or just contractors that they don't have in full time. The other option you'll see is that they do have internal staff, but that staff is built out into departments. And what that looks like is each service. So if Google ads would have its own department, Facebook ads, its own department. There's no alignment with strategy across these departments or teams. And it's likely that the person you're talking with is a project manager who doesn't know how to do execution for any of the channels. Which takes us into red flag number 2 on the list. This is when you work with a marketing agency and they assign your point of contact to be a project manager. Now, don't get me wrong, project managers are important for teams to succeed, but when you place them as the client-facing role and they don't have experience executing the marketing services, it creates a bit of a telephone game. Now, this may be a bit of an exaggeration, but think about being on a monthly call to check in on performance with your agency, and you're talking with a person about paid ads or email marketing. Performance is bad, and you want to understand why things are not going well. Do you want to hear the answers like, that's a good question, let me check back in with the team and I'll circle back with you after this call? Or, I'm not sure, let me check and see what the team has to say about that. You want the answers right there. You want somebody that can communicate with you, understand the problem so that you two can collaborate and come to a good answer. As you can imagine, this disconnect in communication can cause delays in the overall project and decline in performance. This takes us to red flag number 3 on the list, and this may not be as big of a red flag as the last one that we're going to cover in this video, but this is one that you hear more frequent than the rest on this list, and that is an agency guaranteeing results. If an agency promises you certain ROI or certain ROA with your Facebook ads, run, especially if they haven't even taken the time to audit your ad account or look at your P&L and understand what your statement looks like. Why? Because every business, every ad account, every audience is different. A strategy that works in one ad account or for one business may not work for another. At BrighterClick, we specialize in paid ad management and creative strategy and design, and we see day over day that there is no one-size-fits-all strategy for businesses and for marketing campaigns. What you will generally see is that most agencies will lure you into a long-term contract by guaranteeing you results. And this takes us to red flag number 4 on the list, which is time-bound contracts from day one. Now, there are services like SEO and CRO that can take time to bring results, and sometimes time-bound contracts make sense for certain clients based on their needs. But if an agency's standard is a minimum time-bound contract of 6+ months from day one, it's likely that they may be using these contracts as a way to keep clients on board because performance would generally churn people away. In a healthy partnership between a client and an agency, the first 2 to 3 months is a great time to understand if it's a good fit. There may be things that the business does that isn't good for the agency. There may be things that the agency does that isn't good for the business. Once you've kind of test driven together and understood if the alignment is there, then you can certainly look at 3, 6, 12-month contracts to help reduce rate for the client. And you may think that the agency you're talking with is an exception because you see no negative reviews online. They have positive reviews on Clutch, on Google, you see nothing negative anywhere. But that takes us to red flag number 5, and this is the biggest red flag on the list, and that is non-disparagement clauses in contracts. This can be the sneakiest red flag because it's oftentimes buried deep in the contract. Now, what is a non-disparagement clause? In short, this clause states that you are not allowed to say anything negative about the agency, its employees, the services it provides at all on the internet, publicly, you have to keep it to yourself. Keep an eye out for these 5 red flags when you're talking with a new marketing agency. And if you'd like to stay in the loop on marketing trends and tools to grow your e-commerce brand, hit the subscribe button below this video.